Fear not though, I'm just using Canadian pennies, so not real money anyway. Nah, yeah, great. Now my video is going to be removed for starting an international incident.
Okay, the first thing I did here in building this concept airsoft grenade is to take a 4-way 3/4 inch PVC tee and insert 3-inch pieces of PVC into each side. 3-inch long pieces of 3/4 inch PVC, that is. They do not need to be glued in because they're not going to undergo sufficient strain in order to rip them out. So just hand pressure holding them in should be fine. Okay, the next thing I did here is to mark 1.5 inches down from each section of these 3-inch pieces of pipe and then cut down the length of the pipe until I reach that section. Just on 1/2 of the pipe do I do that, the top half. And I cut 2 slices about 1 centimeter apart and then pull out the center wedge. I then take a razor blade and cut out the new slash in the pipe until it easily will allow a large cotter pin to slide up and down it. Right through the center of this newly formed gash, I then drill a hole in the other side of the pipe with a bit the same size as that cotter pin, or just larger, so that it slides easily into it. A hole is then drilled straight down through the center of the 4-way coupling. The hole needs to be large enough to fit a long bolt that I will show later on in this video. You will have to go to the end and figure out how long of a bolt you are going to need and what size you can get it in before figuring out what size of hole you need to drill here. For the next portion of this build, I then took a 1.5 inch PVC coupling and cut it down to be 1.5 inches in length. I then took the 1.5 inch section of that coupling and drilled holes all along the outside rim at 90-degree angles from each other. Then along the opposite side as the holes along that 1.5 inch coupling, I cut grooves with my bench grinder so that it would fit nicely on top of the 3/4 inch 4-way coupling. This was then glued with PVC cement onto the 4-way coupling on the same side as the grooves that were cut that were made to fit the cotter pins. For this part, notice I'm bending the pin upwards because you want this long part of this cotter pin facing out when you're bending this upwards.
Alright, the next step here is to put your nice form-fitting washer inside of your pressure switch here. And this right here isn't totally necessary, but I think it might make this work a little more consistency. I'm going to put a piece of 1-inch PVC in here on top of it, on top of the washer. And there we go, nice and snug. Not going to bother gluing it in or anything. I don't think that's coming out of there. And yeah, doing that there should keep this washer a little more secure, less flimsy when you insert it onto your bolt coming through the back of the grenade here. And screw your locking nut just down. Oh, hard to do with the left hand here. Screw this just down to the locking part, and then a little further. I think finger snugness is probably alright, so I don't think it'll come off there very easily. And well, now is the time for the first test here to see if you put this together correctly, see if it'll fit and all your pins work right. So let's do that here. Your washers in the end of this, and I haven't figured out a great way to keep these from flying out yet. Thought maybe of putting like a little reducer on the end of these pipes, maybe from 3/4 inch down to 1/2 inch, but then you'll be choking your pellets as they come out, so that's not going to work too well, I don't think. So I'm not sure exactly how to hold these washers in here. Kind of tough to attach them to the springs, so I believe pennies fit in 3/4 inch PVC pretty good. If you want to waste pennies rather than 7-cent washers, save you a little money that way. Just put the wrong pin in here. It's the reason why you color code them, is because you make these pins custom to fit in each of these holes. See if I can get it through that bottom hole. Okay, now you can see that all these pins come through and fall underneath this cap, and you can see the very tip of the long end of these pins sticks through on all sides of this, so that when this comes down and lands on this pressure switch right here, it pushes in all these pins, opening up all the ends of these barrels. And it's not too sensitive. It's got to hit that with a good amount of force, as if it were thrown. So now the last step here is to put on some fins onto the back of this so that it always lands on this side here. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Okay guys, as you can see, I've added the tail on this to direct the flight path so it always lands on this impact sensitive switch here. And what I got is an old bungee cord I cut right down the center for added little benefit that it's flexible, so it can be rolled up, or you know, it's just not something stiff that you got to be carrying around with you. And for the tail, can't say that's not sweet, huh? So yeah, this just might be a temporary thing. This is actually for my boat, but I don't know, I think it's pretty sweet. Maybe I'll just get another one for the boat. Alright, so here is the grenade loaded. I have used popcorn kernels as ammo because it's cheaper than airsoft pellets, that's for sure. And I've just covered the tips here with aluminum foil. Go out and give this thing a test. Hopefully you'll be able to see the corn flying on this little camera. So here it is, all ready to go, and let's try it out. Well, I'm finding the aluminum caps and the corn kernels quite a ways away from where it landed, but I think that the aluminum foil really harmed the spread. Alright, this time I've opted for cotton balls shoved in the end, which seem to hold pretty well. Okay, so here is where I hit. You can see the pins on the ground. Have to figure out a way to attach those to the body, I think. 'Cause all the way over here, there's some corn on the ground. Another piece here that hit the sides of the barn. Looks like it's about foot level, so maybe could use a little adjusting still. But it did hurl them quite a distance, all the way out to about around here is where I see the corn. So, I mean, it could use work, but hey, that's what you get for designing it in one day, building it, and filming it the next. I'd say for a all original airsoft grenade design, pretty good work for just a concept. And yeah, we'll see. If you guys got any ideas on how to improve it, be sure to let me know. See ya.